West Ham head to Leicester in desperate need of a result as the threat of relegation looms large. The Hammers just sit 3 points above the drop zone, but know a defeat at the King Power Stadium will leave them staring down the barrel with fixtures against Manchester United and in-form Everton to come. But Moyes will be boosted by the fact that the Foxes' season has just hit a stagnant blah. Indeed, Leicester have picked up just 1 point from the last 4 games, losing 5-0 to Crystal Palace at Selhurst Park last Saturday, having secured their own safety under their manager some time ago. And West Ham step into the mix, and we need this victory. We need this victory more than we've ever needed it before. Welcome back to Iron United's YouTube channel. I'm Anton. Beside me is Rich, beside him is Luke, and beside him in the far corner is Matt. Richard, Leicester City, what do you know? Former champions of the Premier League, what do you know about them this season?
It's been a bit up and down for them, really. Obviously, got Claude Puel in, and he hit the ground running straight away. But lately, their form's been terrible, and they haven't been getting the results that they should be, really, because they have a decent squad. They've got some decent players on paper, brought in some decent players in the summer, likes of Iheanacho that came in, and Didi, decent players. But yeah, they just haven't been at it. And as much as we need to get 3 points, I don't personally think we need 3 points, because you look at the teams underneath us, Stoke are pretty much down, West Brom are pretty much down. It's really between Southampton, Swansea and Huddersfield and ourselves. And I don't see Huddersfield getting any more points, but I don't want us to go into games thinking, oh yeah, okay, cool, Huddersfield won't get any more points, so we don't need any more points. We need to go there to try and win the game. Whether Moyes will set up that way is another question in itself. But it's going to be tough, and luckily they're not in the greatest run of form at the moment. They've just been battered 5-0 by Palace, so we'll take a lot of confidence into the game, knowing that fact. And yeah, that's what I can give from my side. Luke, any thoughts on preparations for the Leicester game? What realistically do you think we can get from the game?
Well, it's basically, for me, a must-win. I think I know what you're saying, I know where you're coming from, Rich, but West Ham are 2 here and there for me. It's very easy to just sort of go, well, we don't need it because so-and-so is poor, but we were so abysmal against City that I just think mentality-wise as well, we need to just go in there and get the 3 points that we need. It's so tight down there at the bottom, and we're far too easy to rest on our laurels and just say, oh, it's fine, they're crap, we don't need to worry. But I'd like us to give it a go ourselves. I'd like us to say, no, we deserve to stay up. We need to give the away fans something to cheer about. We need to actually go out there and show that we're not just lazy and just comfortable to just sit there and let everyone else be worse than us. I'd like to see, after that shambolic Man City game, I'd like to see the players go out and repay the faith and start showing that they're deserving of a place in the Premier League next year. Matt, what's your thoughts, mate?
Obviously, we got to see something better than last week, but it's if you look at the form, the future of the form, it's got a draw written all over it. We haven't won away in like 5 games. They haven't won at home in 5 games. You'd say it's got draw written all over it, but then it's always West Ham turn up. Someone hasn't done something. West Ham. So I take a point. Really, we need the 3, but a point keeps you alive and going. Yeah. 3 would probably finish it. If we got 3 points on Saturday, that would probably be it done. Like, we'd be fine. But it can't be any worse than last week. It can't. Like, there was 0 effort put in last week. Yeah.
Well, if they
raised their effort up 10%, they've already done more than they did last week.
Listen. It's just West Ham. The only way is up. Unfortunately, we're just looking down too much. Anyway, let's get back onto Leicester City, former champions. I mean, who would have thought that? What is it? 2 years ago now that Leicester City would surprise every single football fan around the world and win the Premier League against all the top clubs spending all the top money. But they found themselves in a situation where they've kind of just above mid-table, which is a very good position to find themselves in for a club like Leicester City. Maybe a position that West Ham would love to be in. I mean, let's be honest. Would you rather be Leicester City or West Ham right now? So, there's a good question. Well, I'm not going to do it because we know the answer to that, but we would rather be in the same situation. But Richard, Players of Leicester City, the players that have stuck it out and stayed with them, and some of the players have moved on. But there's one player in particular who is going to be missing for the game this weekend, and that's Albrighton. A player that come up through the ranks of the lower leagues, played at Aston Villa, signed for Leicester City, found themselves winning a Premier League and a Champions League. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, he's a decent player. He'll certainly be a miss for them. It looked like in the Palace game he was playing in a back four. So they'll have to sort out that position. I think he was playing at right back because Chilwell's at left back. So I think it's a position, it's not an integral position. He's not someone that's going to tear us apart from right back. He does try to get forward, to be fair, but I don't think it's going to be that much of a loss for them. They'll slot someone else and they'll probably give a youngster a chance. But it's going forward that we really have to watch out for them, because at the back they're pretty solid. Morgan's decent at the back. You know, they've brought in some decent players in the back four, but you look at the likes of Iheanacho, Damari Gray, Jamie Vardy, those are the guys you have to watch out for, because they just have lightning blistering pace. And with our defence, you know, not being the quickest defence in the league, I think we're going to struggle. And Vardy's going to look to get in behind every single time he can. They're going to look to play those through balls. So if we're not on our toes and up for it, I think we could find ourselves getting battered if we're not up for it and we're not looking to fight, because the City game last week was a shambles, as we can all agree. But I think, yeah, going forward is where they really are going to be dangerous.
We're talking about, and you've just mentioned Jamie Vardy. What really is he our most fearful man this weekend, Luke?
Yeah, which is, you know, is something that we've got to try and get a grip of. You know, his pace against our defenders will make us that they're running in porridge. So it's something that we need to combat in a player. An offside defensive line or something like that. But like Rich just said, they got full of pace in their team, and unfortunately, we've proved over the course of this season, especially, that we can't handle pace. And you don't even have to be that decent of a technical player. You know, you just have to get past us and create openings and stuff like that. And it is worrying for me, especially if I like Evra for what he is. I don't expect much of him. He's a typical board signing and what have you. But someone like absolutely roasted by the likes of Vardy and as Rich said, Damari Gray. But hopefully we combat that well. I'm too scared of it, to be honest with you. To put it into context.
Yeah. What do we think, Matt? Then, because on top of Vardy, you've got a player of Mahrez's talent.
That's what I was about to say.
Do you think?
I didn't even mention him.
Yeah, no.
But for me, he's the guy you have to worry about.
Well,
when he doesn't play well, if he's quiet in a game, Leicester tend to struggle, and that's when they try and go back to their old school of just lobbing it over the top. So if you can keep a deep line and Mahrez quiet, you're giving yourself a good chance at Leicester. But having said that, it depends. Can you do it? I mean, keeping Mahrez quiet isn't exactly an easy thing to do. Yeah,
but let's look at West Ham currently, and let's look at Leicester City currently. They're not on form, but they're going to be fighting to get. Obviously, they're not going to turn up and just bend over and let West Ham give it to them any possible way they want. But if you were Mahrez and you were Vardy, you would be having a quick discussion beforehand and saying, "Listen, we're playing against West Ham, the team that have conceded the most goals in the Premier League. Put that ball over those 4, 3, 5 defenders that West Ham are going to line up with, and I will be on the end of that because I will outpace every single one of them." For me, it's a no-brainer. What are your thoughts on that one, Matt?
I think, well, it depends on what players you play, I guess. Like, for me, I would play a back four. I'd play 4-4-2 against Leicester.
Yes, agreed.
Because that is Leicester's formation. They play 4-4-2, and the best way to set up against it is to play it.
Yeah.
I'd be tempted to play, like, Masuaku at left back and Creswell at the left centre-back.
Yeah.
And Bonner, and then I don't know who you'd put right back. But you need to put pace along your back line.
Yeah.
Because that is the only way they're going to get past you, is literally balls over the top.
And we've mentioned...
And if you start with friggin' Collins, Zabaleta and Evra, you might as well give them the 3 points while we kick off.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, that's true, but if we think about another player that we haven't mentioned, and a player that West Ham were linked to pretty much most of the summer last year, and it's Iheanacho, and these are the sort of players that, you know, I fear when it comes to West Ham playing them. I don't want to. Do you know what? I'm saying it out loud, and people can turn around and say, "Oh, you've ruined it. You shouldn't have said that." Blah blah blah. But it's true. When we come up against these players, we nearly signed them. We should have probably signed them We let Leicester come in and take him. He's not had I don't think he's had the greatest so far of starts at Leicester, but he has scored goals, some goals, and we know what he can do from his Manchester City days. They've got a buyback clause on him as well, apparently. Do you fear a player like that, Rich? A player that's been linked to the club who's got a slight connection to West Ham?
Perhaps, because if am I right in saying that Bilic didn't quite fancy signing him?
Yep.
Am I right in saying that? And perhaps he's got a point to prove just to West Ham in general, saying, well, if I wasn't good enough for you, well, let me show you what I can do. And he might well have an agenda against us, but I wouldn't read too much into that. I think he's just happy to be back in the starting lineup. He hasn't played much, to be fair. So he'll be happy to just be playing. And I do fear him because he's got pace, he's got skill. I mean, someone to be playing at Manchester City, scoring goals consistently, you have to fear him. And I think he'll come good for Leicester next season. This season hasn't been great, but he's still very young. Let's not forget that. He'll be going to the World Cup with Nigeria, so he'll be full of confidence. And it's just another player we have to worry about. And I can't believe I didn't mention Riyad Mahrez. We're talking about PFA Player of the Year 2 years ago. He's going to be right up for this game. Pacey, tricky. He'll look to put balls in behind for Vardy. So they've got so many options going forward. And I worry if we have Zabaleta at right back and Cresswell at left back, I genuinely worry because I don't see how we're going to cope with any of their pace, especially with the fact that Cresswell's better going forward than he is defending. Zabaleta's got no legs really, although this season he's done a great job in my opinion. But yeah, it's just I worry. I genuinely worry. We're going to need to just outscore Leicester because we probably are going to concede.
Yeah, look.
I wasn't depressed before this preview. I am now. I wasn't going to drink before the game. I definitely am now. There's not much to elaborate on, to be fair. Not being funny. You mentioned in the ad show, if you haven't scored a goal in your career, that ball's coming off your arse or any part of your body, and you go in the goal against us. That's just that's our luck. They've got tons of players. The funny thing about Leicester is they're man for man in their squad. They've actually got quite a decent squad, and it is actually when you look at it. They maybe shouldn't have won the league 2 years ago, but it's not surprising, with the way they play, and they have a player that's built for every position. It's not just a mix and match team. It's there are players that suit that position, and like Mahrez and like Vardy and like Gray. You're worried about Man City and we didn't do anything against them, but these no matter what you do, they're going to take us apart. I mean, I'll say it's a must win. It's going to take a hell of a lot of a performance to get past these guys, but you never know. If he actually got a point to prove, then does a hat trick definitely for him. I mean, just take your wrist time, isn't it? Really, basically.
We're looking
not that far, basically. But, yeah.
I mean, I'm looking at the league now. Leicester City have got 3 games to go, so they can still realistically just what I'm looking at it here. Is it? I don't think they can catch Burnley anymore. It looks like they can't catch Burnley, so it's just Everton above them, really. So I think that's them probably out of the European contention, but that's probably not a bad thing for them as a club. But they've got really nothing to fight for the season. So is that a positive to take, Matt?
Somewhat. It does look like if you look in their last sort of couple of results, their key game was Burnley, and after they lost at Burnley, their season just sort of tailed off. Yeah, because it is at the point now where they've got nothing to play for. Realistically, they're not going to probably finish lower than Everton. Even if they finish below Everton, they're going to go down one place. They can't get any higher. There's rumours drifting that apparently the players have all had a big fallout with the manager
again.
Yeah, you never know. You never know these things. You only read them in the paper, and you take with a pinch of salt. It could be right, could be wrong. Yeah. I think they've got 4 wins in 20, and he started off really well, and it's just sort of drifted off. Yeah. Players aren't happy with tactics, formations. They haven't won at home in 5 games. You'd think it'd be the perfect time to play them, but this is West Ham. Nice. There's no other way to say it. It is West Ham. You don't know. Yeah. We could turn up all guns blazing up for it, and we could smash them 3-0. Yeah. Or we could turn up like we did last week, and fucking Leicester put 5 past us. Yeah. It's a good a time as any to play them, because if we'd have played them 2 months ago, they were up for it going for Europe. They probably would have smashed us. Yeah. We've got more of a chance now than we did then, but that doesn't mean anything to West Ham.
Yeah, of course. Well, let's talk about come back onto West Ham for a moment. Last week we seen the return of Joe Hart. Adrian into the goal for West Ham, because obviously... No, sorry, I'm getting totally mixed up. Remind me, guys. Someone help me.
Came in for
Adrian.
That's it.
Yeah.
And this week, due to the he can play against any team except for his parent club. Joe Hart is back in for selection. Do we see Joe Hart coming back into the team, Richard?
I think we do. Moyes has seemed to just about favour him over Adrian the last few games, and I can't say Adrian filled me with confidence against City. He wasn't great, to be honest. Didn't really command his box very well. Probably at fault for one or two of the goals. To be fair, at the moment, I'd probably just prefer both of them. I know it's going to sound crazy, but we just need to get a proper keeper in that's full of confidence, that's solid, that's not going to have a calamity in him every 2-3 games. So yeah, I think Hart will start over Adrian, and it's difficult because Hart's not going to play a part at the World Cup. It's not like he's fighting for his place. His place is gone long ago. Adrian, I love him. He's loves the club. The fans love him, but I just haven't seen enough from him the last few games to really say that he's going to stamp down his place for the next few seasons. I think it's only a matter of time before we get another keeper in who makes the number one spot his own. But for the Leicester game, Hart will start.
I'll throw this over to probably you. Well, I'll go for yourself, Matt, just for something a bit different, not to keep it out of order. Has Joe Hart lost his chance to go to the World Cup completely?
I don't think he has. I think he's lost his place to start, 100%. I think he'll go there. I don't think he'll be on the bench. I think he'll go there as the third choice keeper. Because the problem is, as shit as Joe Hart has been this season, apart from maybe you could say Nick Pope, who doesn't seem to be fancied, and Pickford, no one else has actually had a better season. Like, I think Butland's conceded 2 less goals than we have. Obviously, he's played in goal every game for Stoke, and Hart hasn't. So you've got that. Fraser Forster got completely dropped at Southampton. You've got Ben Foster at West Brom. There's not a lot of English keepers at the moment, and no one's particularly good. The only one that is Nick Pope at Burnley. And he didn't get a run at. When we had the last international break, he got called up and spent the time on the bench.
Yeah.
Especially in a set of friendlies, he would have been the keeper who'd have given a go.
Yeah.
It seems probably set on that Pickford will start at the World Cup. I think he'll take Pickford, Butland, and Hart.
Yeah, I agree.
And as an England fan, that doesn't fill me with any confidence whatsoever.
Thing is, I've always rated Jack Butland, and I think he's going to be the number one. But even after rating him so highly, I watched him last week against Liverpool, and he came out of his box a few times, didn't have a clue what was going on. So, in general, I just think the English keepers at the moment just aren't filling the fans with a lot of confidence. So, yeah, it will be interesting. But I genuinely don't see one keeper that's English that's had a good season this season. So, yeah.
And Rich, on that point, I suppose you make a very valid point by stating the fact that these players, these England number ones, are all playing at the lower level of the Premier League. They're not being signed up by the top teams because obviously the talent abroad is possibly better. But I do agree with you on the keepers. I think we need to make a big, massive change in the summer. Unfortunately, right now we're going ahead with the inconsistency of Hart, Adrian, and looked, honestly, what do you believe is going to happen this Saturday? Do you honestly believe Hart's going to come back in, or is he going to stick with Adrian?
But yeah, by the way, Rich, on your first point, when you first were talking about the goalkeeper situation, you are absolutely crazy to want a reliable goalkeeper that doesn't make any mistakes at all. That is a really crazy thing to wish for. I must admit, I think we're all crazy to want that as well. Right now, with the goalkeeper situation, I think Nathan Trott's got more chance of getting in than Adrian after last week.
Give Trott a chance.
Yeah, exactly.
Honestly, he couldn't do any worse. He really could.
I'll take it.
Don't say that. Don't say that.
Look, just while we're on that, why not? Yeah. This is the thing that concerns me.
He couldn't do any worse. No, but he literally couldn't.
But Matt, I can just for 2 seconds though. AC Milan, AC Milan, West Ham, trying to compete for championships. West Ham trying to survive relegation, but they give the youth the chance and look at he's over 100 appearances for AC Milan. He's only 19 or 20. Is he not now one of Italian's starting goalkeeper? Like all that kind of stuff. It's crazy statistics. Why not? Anyway, sorry, Luke.
No, that's fine. You make a very, very valid point. You probably put my point completely out the window, to be fair now. But the only problem with Donnarumma is the fact that Juventus were after him even before he made his first debut for AC Milan, and have been on his tail for ages, which basically means that His standard is a lot higher than most youth goalkeepers. With that said, you know, Joe Hart hasn't pulled up any trees. He's had a few good games here and there, made a few good saves. But then I think personally, Adrian has had the same this season, just because he lost 4-1 in a team where the defence just basically went, you know, a party like the Red Sea for Man City. Just went, go on in, score 4 goals. I love Adrian to bits. I love his passion. As everyone knows, I think he's you know, for me, he's number one over Hart any day. But it's not going to happen. But maybe it should happen. Maybe Trot should go in. But then again, you could look at all that youth team and go, well, do you know what? You're shit. Rice has made a mistake last week. Zabaleta can't run for more than 2 minutes at a time. Blah. Just put the youth team in. And I was saying that from the start of the season anyway to get them all in, because I had the complete hump with the players on the Bilic. So I think Joe Hart will go in using head. And based on the World Cup, just quickly, I think Butland will start due to the fact that I think that he's genuinely looks more comfortable in goal than Pickford does. But it'd be that's an interesting point altogether. That's completely different. But why do we need 3 goalkeepers for a World Cup finals?
I think you have to take 3. The way they do the squad, you have to select 3 goalkeepers.
I mean, literally, most third goalkeepers are really making teas at half time for their squad, surely, because they do absolutely fuck all apart from the warm up.
Cutting oranges, mate. Cutting oranges.
That's
But you'd know about that.
Face.
It's more just when someone gets injured. That's what it is.
Yeah.
When keepers don't get injured, but if a keeper does get injured, and you ain't taking 2 there, you've got 1 keeper for the rest of the tournament. Keeper gets a red.
That's the kind of thing where you'd find sabotage, where you'd probably poison the tea or something as you go in.
That's exactly the only reason I think Hart will go, because Hart's the only one there that's got international tournament experience.
Yeah. I thought you were saying the only reason he could go is because he could poison the tea.
Making the teas and doing the oranges, giving like Butland and Pope a pat on the back, like, oh, well done, lads, keep it up.
Listen,
pulling muscles, he's slapping them down.
A point you just made there. A point you just made there, Luke, was you had the hump earlier in the season when Bilic was in charge. Surely to God you've got the hump right now because Moyes is in charge.
It's not even a hump. It's not even anger anymore. It's just apathy. It's just for fuck's sake. Again, this is as I said the other night. This is West Ham to a T. The problem is we're in a shitty stadium or a different stadium, and we shouldn't be anywhere near the position we are in right now. So it's just more. It's the disappointment is doubled because of the fact that the whole situation we're in. But yeah, I put down Sunday's thing due to Moyes' tactics, but also the fact that the players just were just completely off the ball before the game started.
The thing is, I put that down to Moyes as well, because I'm not being funny. For me personally, like, I played rugby, I didn't play football, but if I spent a week training without the ball, how am I going to go into a game and get up for it like, fuck it, yeah, let's get in about it, lads. Let's put some tackles in. Let's go and win the ball back. You didn't train with the ball. You trained without the ball.
Let's clear this.
I think it was Gary Neville said it in the commentary. Like after about 15 minutes, he was like, "It's all good and well training without the ball, but you didn't do any transitions of training when you get the ball, like a quick counter attack. Who's going where? Who's going to break off? Who's making tackles going? Moyes didn't do it. Moyes just went, let's keep our shape. Let's sit back and absorb it." You can't do that for 90 minutes.
Did he train like that? Did he train like that the whole week though? Because surely the day before, or the 2 days before, they had to have had like a session of just finishing or something. I mean, for them to have just trained out the ball, I mean, that's just pathetic.
Richard,
you go a goal down.
In the media.
Yeah, I mean, if that is true, which I'm tending to believe is true, that is the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. Because once we go 1-0 down, well, fuck, now what?
So
exactly.
Richard, do you put this down to David Moyes' ego?
He shouldn't have an ego because he's done nothing.
Do you think you're right, but do you think he's playing off an ego from his past?
You know what annoys me with David Moyes is in all his interviews he's acting like he's the savior of West Ham United. He's going, oh yeah, I've come in with us in the relegation zone and now we're out of it, so I think I've done a good job. No, you haven't. We're just lucky the teams beneath us have been so shit this season, because I'm going to put it bluntly. I don't want him at the club. We need a huge change from top to bottom. We need a new manager and we need a squad overhaul, because at the moment it's just rotten all the way through. And I don't want to go on a rant because I don't like doing that. I try to stay positive, but I don't know why he should have an ego. yeah, okay, he was decent at Everton. He spent quite a bit of money there. Went to Man United, was a failure. Went to Real Sociedad, was a failure. Went to Sunderland, was a failure. Came to us, he's been pretty much a failure. So I don't understand why he should have ego. And yeah, that's me done.
No, I'm shooting myself because you've just depressed the living daylights out of me.
But I mean, that's genuinely like, what has he done to deserve to be West Ham manager?
He's done what I said. I think I put in the chat the other day. He's done like the bare minimum accepted.
Yeah.
Like the bare minimum on his contract. Like, you know, like you play FIFA Football Manager and you get like goals for the season. Like, he got his goals when he came in, and the fucking very bottom of it was like avoid relegation, and he just got that ticked off. Like, yeah, that's
all he's doing. That's all he's doing. He's here.
He hasn't even done that yet. Like,
he's here to pick up. He's at West Ham to pick up his $2 million bonus at the end of the season for keeping us up, and that's it. He doesn't have any more ambition with the team. That's why when we play against teams where we should be winning and should be setting up attacking, he's put 11 players behind the ball because he just wants us to stay up. If we do it on goal difference, if we do it by 1 point, he doesn't care. He's there for his $2 million bonus. I genuinely don't see how we can progress with him at the club next
Holy
season.
shit, by the way. I feel like I'm at the ocean. I have a little bit of bait, and it's David Moyes, and I've dropped it in, and the three of you are piranhas going, Wah!
Because I'm tired of singing the praises. I'm tired. Like, I'm tired of it. I'm just saying how it
is turning Arnautovic around. That's it.
Yeah,
fair enough.
That's what you have to give him credit for, because Arnautovic was like, everyone called him like the worst signing, waste of money.
Matt, see on that point, Arnautovic's career at every other club has been doing all right. He comes to West Ham, he wasn't doing that great. So was it really a tactical bit of genius, or was it just the fact that Moyes went, I'm going to play him where he's been doing all right for Stoke, where he's been doing all right for his previous stuff?
Well, that's the thing, because Stoke he played on the wing, didn't he? They didn't play him up front.
Well, I thought they did though on several occasions. That's when he was. They
played him on the wing.
No, they did. They played him up top on several occasions. That's why his goal scoring record was getting better for Stoke. Not all the time. He wasn't a centralised striker.
Strikers at Stoke though.
Yeah.
I tend to agree with Matt. He has been on the wing a lot.
I think they still play him like whatever front three sort of thing. They put him like left on the front three.
Yeah.
Occasionally he'd play just behind like Crouch or Juve or something, or Walters back in the day. But a question I want to throw to you guys: would Arnautovic have had his impact, the same impact, if he wasn't playing as a striker? Say Moyes had gone, okay, cool, we're going to go Carol Hernandez, and we're going to play Arnie on the left. Do you think he would have been the same player? Do you think he would have got player of the season? No, I'm not too sure.
No.
So can we agree that Moyes
where he was playing under Villa? But even then, I was saying it back to like my dad and my mates back in like September. They were playing him on the wing, and you could see that he just didn't track back whatsoever. And I was like, well, play him up front. Hasn't got track back then. But Bilic just wouldn't do it. Bilic was like, no, he's playing on the wing.
You're saying
but that's why Hernandez isn't playing.
Like, Matt, you make him run.
You're saying
that was all it was. Moyes come in and went, if you don't run, you're not playing.
You're saying that though, but then we reference back to when Dimitri Payet wasn't tracking back. Why the fuck did we want Dimitri Payet to track back? Just because he's a midfielder? No. That's not the way it works, though.
But lads, if Arnie's playing as a striker, that's why Hernandez isn't playing.
No, he's not playing because Moyes doesn't like him.
I know he doesn't like him. But we get upset that Carroll and Hernandez and them aren't playing. But Arnie is the man that Moyes has pinpointed as his number 9.
Yeah, but it's more the fact that you could play two up front. You could easily play two up front in that team.
Right.
Play Hernandez with him.
That's where I agree. We need to play two up front. Imagine having Arnautovic, Chicharito.
What game was it? Was it the Bournemouth game or like the Burnley game where we had like 7 defenders, 3 hold midfielders, and 1 centre forward on the pitch?
Right. Listen, I'm going to cut this one short. I'm going to keep it on Moyes, but I'm going to bring it back to a situation that's current in the media just now. And it's Mr. Andy Carroll. We know there's been a fallout. We know there's been an apology. Does Andy Carroll get a look in this weekend?
Well, first of all, I get told I talk too much in this one, so it's not off for me. So
yeah, it looked like it.
Fucking hell. Come on, boys.
Sorry, mate.
Yeah, as soon as that apology come out, Dad just said to me, right, he's starting on Saturday, and that's this. I think what's going to happen is that Moyes will go, we need to go route one. I don't think Hernandez will start. I think he'll go with Carroll, with Arnie just behind him or next to him, Masuaku on left wing. He'll go more attacking, but I think with Carroll starting, we'll see a more direct approach rather than just trying to play the balls across the back line and onto the wings and etc. etc. But yeah, look, there was that fantastic article just come out recently, which highlighted the fact that I said it a while back. That Carroll's expected to, thrown tools at his pram, gone down the tunnel, done what he'd done, whatever. But Geezer's been injured for so long. Whether you can see there's a flaw in the tactics or not, you can't just say, "Get me on, I want to play." And I know, I think Stell was saying the other day that maybe he was due to come on anyway, got changed and whatever. But they've had a bust up, they've had a Barney, whatever. He's gone home, he's been fined like, £5 worth compared to what we're, earning, whatever. But yeah, the apology just says to me that come back, let's make the media, because he might have come back, but he might not be in a very good mood. They might just be saying he's made up, just to keep the noise level down, keep the press away, and keep the interest down. But for me, I could be wrong, whatever. But for me, that just says he's starting, and we're going Brick 1, which I wouldn't mind personally.
Richard, I don't mind that either.
Yeah, I was going to say, Richard, what's your thoughts?
I don't mind if Carroll starts and we actually go a bit Route 1, because you know what, it's effective. And at this point in the season, let's do stuff that's effective, that's actually going to get us points and be fruitful. Because I don't know why Moyes tried to play the ball on the ground against City. Even when we got back in the game, it was screaming out for Andy to come on and for Cresswell just to hit long balls. Their centre-backs wouldn't have been able to cope. So that's why I can understand why he's upset. We tried to play with the ball on the ground and got absolutely battered. I don't mind if we play with Carroll up front against Leicester, put some balls in the box. He scored against them before 2 seasons ago at the King Power, where we should have won that game. Then he gave away a penalty at the end, which was not a penalty. So yeah, I think it's made for Carroll to start, and I reckon he'll score if he starts.
Yeah, what about yourself, Matt? Over to you.
I'm the same. I think it's dying out for Carroll to play. I think, like last week, if he couldn't have started, he should have come on at half time. It was tactical ineptness from Moyes, because there's certain teams play certain ways, and like Leicester, like Man City, like Liverpool, they have pace up front, they hassle you down, they win the ball back and hit you on the counter. And if you've got Andy Carroll on the pitch, you don't have to try and pass it around at the back. You haven't got to try and pick your way through. You play it long. For me, it's Carroll was sort of a catch-22, because you don't want to see anyone pissed off and walking away. But at the same time, I'm glad he got pissed off and walked away, because it shows that he cares. Fucking more than Moyes does. It shows that he was pissed off. Like he cares as much as the fans does. Because like I said, I missed the game at the weekend. My dad went with his mate, and when my dad was sitting, we sat in Bobby Moore Upper. Like the 20 people around him was sitting there screaming for Carroll to come on. And then he brought on fucking João Mario, and they all sat there and went, Moyes ain't got a clue, and they all got up and left. They all got up and left. Like 20 of them just walked around and just got up and left. They were like, what's the point? He's put João Mario.
I would have done the same. Well, actually, I wouldn't have. I wouldn't have left the stadium. I would have kept supporting. But my goodness, why bring on João Mario in a situation like that? When that happened, I absolutely lost it. My dad had to tell me to calm down. I was absolutely fuming.
I'm adamant, and I've mentioned it earlier on, I'm adamant that David Moyes is carrying an ego from his past. From when he was at Everton boss, which was I don't even know how many years ago. He then took the poison chalice, but his ego was becoming larger. His big-headed manager, who's been recognised for what he's done for Everton, come into Manchester United, not done so well, but he's not lost that ego, and that's why he's gained the confidence to go away, go abroad. Never done so well, as you mentioned, with Sociedad, and came back and relegated Sunderland. But he's still carrying that ego though, look. And the thing is, and I've stated this before previously, we're West Ham United, who have got top quality players in our ranks. We all do, we all know that. Lanzini, you possibly can do what David Moyes done if you are a Manchester United, Liverpool, and you have a deep squad of top quality players. We don't have that. And if you lose the ball making one mistake in the game, you don't get pinpointed for making that mistake. And that's, for me, signs that David Moyes has lost the changing room, lost the players, lost the fans. What were you going to say?
No, I don't think, if he's got an ego, it's a defensive ego, and fair enough. I mean, they do exist and whatever. But I think I got the gist that when he first got the job, it was like a desperation for him that, thank God I've got a fucking job. It's a big club like West Ham, and I've got a chance now to redeem myself in football, especially in the Premier League. And he just seen in every interview on the training field that he was like, right, I'm grabbing this job by the ball, by the balls. And if I'm honest, it's only been within the last 10 games that he's lost the faith of the fans, because before that, he was doing the right things. He changed the whole training spectrum. Everything was going kind of well, and then now it's just sort of. I think what's happened is, I think we got so far up the league that he got comfortable, and I think the players got comfortable, and that the tactics weren't just concentrated on as much. Players were sort of going out. Once we won that game against Southampton, once the protest thing died out after the Burnley game, once we beat Southampton 3-0, we thought, okay, we're safe now. Because West Brom are down and out. The two other teams that are down at the bottom aren't going to be able to catch us up. And now we can just put a gas to the pedal. We can go. We've just been to Miami and whatever. Everything's going okay. Everyone's sort of not moaning about the stadium and the owners so much. It's all going swimmingly okay. It's fine. And now it's just catching up on us that it's not as comfortable as it was. And everyone's, I think, starting to shit themselves. And I think, honestly, there is a part of them that's going, actually, fuck. We should have literally been mathematically safe before we took the get foot off the pedal. And an interesting stat that keeps coming up now with your connection to Man United job and wherever, he's still officially under contract to Man United. Not officially under contract, but if he was at United, he would still be under contract with them. And this is the funny thing: amount of jobs he's had in the past, it does say something. And I think that he knows he's fucked up at Sunderland, at Sociedad, and all the rest of it. But there comes that thing where you either crumble or you get defensive, and I think he's got defensive, and I think that he's having a bad effect around the players and around the staff. I would love to know how Stuart Pearce feels sitting next to him every single weekend and training sessions and all that stuff. But I don't get the job done, get him out, get someone else in. But I don't buy the ego thing. I think it's a defensiveness. I don't think he thinks he's that good. I think he thinks shit. I've got to keep a brave face. That's for me. That's what it is. I think it's stubbornness. I think it's stubborn.
Yeah, I suppose it is. I get your point. I still think he's just got an ego. I think he's just a prat. I think he is a prat. But if I'm being honest with you, right, let's just get back onto the Premier League and looking at the fixtures. There's a lot of people on social media that are saying, "Oh, we'll survive." One of our guys, I've kind of thought the same. We'll survive on the points we've got by not picking up any more points. But let's get realistic. All the teams are playing this weekend, and specifically let's concentrate on Saturday. Everyone's playing except for Huddersfield, and let's remove Stoke from the equation. Southampton, Swansea and Huddersfield, if all three of those teams get a victory, all three of those teams go above West Ham. If West Ham lose, that puts West Ham into the relegation zone. So everyone...
Luckily, they have Man City at the Etihad, so Huddersfield.
Yeah.
I don't see them getting much.
Richie,
and I hope they get pummeled so that their goal difference takes a hit, because ours has been taking a hit the last couple of weeks.
Absolutely.
But I hear you.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't put it past Huddersfield to get a result in their game at home. I think they have to play Arsenal at home.
Yeah.
I wouldn't put it past them to get a win there. Why not? I mean, Arsenal haven't been great.
But my point I'm trying to make is, a lot of people are always going on about how we are safe. But literally, come Sunday afternoon, we could be sitting in the bottom three, and we have, as fans, stated, listen, we won't go down. We won't pick up another point, but we won't go down. It's not as easy as that. Let's hope that I am wrong. Let's hope that I am wrong, and we get the victory against Leicester City. But we have to be realistic. It's easy for people to turn around and say, "Oh, Swansea, Southampton, Stoke, they're all playing each other." But come this weekend, that's after that, they're playing each other. If Huddersfield do go and get that result against Manchester City, because, Richard, we know how the Premier League works. It's easy for us to turn around and say, "Oh, do you know what? They smashed Swansea, they smashed West Ham." We just never know. Am I not correct in saying Huddersfield beat Manchester United earlier in the season? When Manchester United were on form, Lukaku was scoring goals left, right and centre. Yeah. It's possible. It might not happen, but it's possible.
He weren't that good, but yeah.
It was at home, to be fair. But I wouldn't put it past them. Stranger things have happened, and you know what? The Premier League is so unpredictable. I wouldn't put it past them. But I hope and I pray. I've put Gabriel Jesus in my fantasy side. Please can he score a hat-trick, and can they batter them like 6-0? It'll be great.
I bet you were like, when he scored against us, you were like, "Oh yeah." Oh,
no, I only put him in this week. I never put in players when they're playing against West Ham. I just can't fight. I can't get myself around to doing it.
Imagine getting lots of points.
But it's because I'm just too loyal like that. I couldn't do it.
Listen, back in July, West Ham made an amazing signing, a player that we fell in love with. The anticipation, if you remember sitting there that night when West Ham were about to announce this amazing player, all of us were excited. You can't even remotely deny it, and even West Ham United were. Can you believe, fast forward 3 games to go, we're literally talking about the end of Chicharito at West Ham? Can you physically believe that Chicharito is all but gone when it comes to West Ham United. And I'll throw this one to you, Luke, right in the middle there.
Well, I can do, because you cried about it ever since in the WhatsApp group. It's just like, there's no chance that. I think I've said it before. I'm kind of getting tired of saying it because it's a really kind of annoying subject at the minute. is that we've got this? And it's not because of you. Keep going about it. It is literally because we have a player who we have asked to do the complete opposite job to what he's done throughout his career, and what he's done very well throughout his career. We bought him for what, in my opinion, is one of the bargains of the summer. Went completely under the radar transfer-wise. And I think that it's the worst thing about it is that he's going to go, and we're not going to replace him with anyone of his standards for the money which we paid for him. And I'm nothing against him, but I can see Hugo taking his place because he's just there at the club. And if he's not sold, then we might as well use him for something. But yeah, I would have liked to see the team built around him. I'd have liked to see Masuaku on the left, Antonio on the right, and all the rest of it, popping balls in and him scoring goals, because he's done it. He's done it with a number of times. It does piss me off when I hear fans saying he's useless. He's not useless. He's not playing in his position. You can't ask someone to produce the best of their ability when they're not given the best equipment, i.e. good players around them and good structure and good tactics. See, do you know what? And to answer your question flat out, can I believe it? Yes. Because this is typical West Ham.
West Ham,
This is kind of like actually, you know, I can't be asking anymore. Fuck it. Yeah, it is disappointing. Yeah. Move on. Sorry. Yeah.
Right. Just wanted to bring that one into it. Let's get on to the team selection. Let's not go individually. We could be here all night discussing it. Realistically, what are we going to change from last week? I'll put this one to you, Matt.
Carroll will come in for Fernandes.
Yeah.
Move Anatovich out to the wing.
Why would you take Fernandes out?
Lansing.
He's been man of the match for the past 3 or 4 games, is he not? Sarcasm.
I think according to Moyes, he keeps fucking playing him. I'd take Ever out and put Masuaku straight back in. For the love of me, I cannot understand where you play the quickest team in the league and you pull Masuaku out of the team. we go City and he goes, they've got Sterling and Starling in the wings. I'll play Evra. He obviously wasn't injured because he was on the bench. I don't know what happened, but for me, he comes back in for Evra. Fernandes gets dropped for Carroll, and the rest of the team's the same.
Rich, any other?
I think Hart will come back in.
Rich,
Hart will come back in.
Any other kind of things you would do or think's going to happen with what Matt said?
I completely agree with Matt. I'd go 4-5-1. I'd go Zaba, Bonner, Rice, Chris. Then I'd play Masuaku on the wing. I'd have Nobes and Czech holding, Lanzini as an attacking mid, Arnie on the right, and Carroll up front. I just think that's the best way. 5 at the back clearly hasn't worked. I know we try and park the bus, but it just hasn't been working. So we may as well play 4 at the back and try it out. Flood the midfield with 5, try win the midfield battle, and then have Carroll up top. And he's got enough in him to, this season Arnautovic has found himself isolated because he's not as tall as Carroll. He doesn't have that same physical presence. He's still strong, but Carroll will be able to be just fine if he's isolated up top. He's got the ability to hold the ball up and bring other players into it. So yeah, I would go 4-5-1. I wouldn't have Evra play, and I wouldn't have Fernandes play either. Yeah, so I completely agree with Matt.
Look, we have discussed pretty much the teams. There's no point in going about it. We've briefly touched on the Leicester players, but what we usually do in these previews, we're starting to say the man to watch from Leicester and the man to watch from West Ham. So I'll put this one to you first. Your main man we need to watch at Leicester City, and your main man we need to watch for West Ham.
Thanks for skipping over my changes in the squad, by the way. No need to ask for mine. It's all right. Right. Man to watch for Leicester City will be any player that hasn't scored at all or hasn't made any impact for Leicester at all this season, because I can guarantee we'll concentrate so much on the players that have done that the one that won't will just score a scrappy goal from a corner or something like that. So it'll be like I don't know. Fuck it, Craig. Morgan will just come in there and score a goal. I don't know. For us, I'd like to see. This is what I'd like to see. I'd like to see that. Stop laughing. I'd like to see.
I'm laughing. Play. I'm sorry. I'm just going to have to take the comment. We've not even came on to this whole thing on YouTube, but Fandangles, our very own Fandangles, is on, and he has written, if Obiang is fit, Czech has to drop out the soppy giraffe.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Badly.
I think if you were watching The Gift of the Gab in the week, you would have seen Dan's description of Czech Kouyaté, and for me it's one of the best I've ever heard in my lifetime, but I can't even remember what he was going to say. But we're joined by quite a few people, so quickly I'll come back to you, Luke, on that, just briefly, just while we're... I will, promise you I will. Stell's on, who's obviously a regular on the show as well, and he's saying, keeper, outrageous but true, Hart will start. Why did the team practice without the ball? God knows, because Moyes thought the team wouldn't have it against Man City. True. How defeatist was that? David said, Stoke can't catch us on Saturday, they're 5 points behind. That's why I said remove Stoke from the situation. Stell thinks we're going to survive by the skin of our teeth. Chicharito won't start. David has come in saying one more point will be enough. I reckon to stay up. Yeah. Alf's back and he's saying check. No, sorry, Rich. And we've got a few team
Czech
predictions
scored against
here.
Leicester this season. Give him a break. Come on.
David's come in and said Cullen for Czech. Get a youngster in who wants it. And finally, Fandangles has said, sorry, Luke, we love you really, mate. So, don't know what's going on there. Maybe a little private message between you two.
Yeah.
Right, Luke, come back to you. Let's get back to that. We've gone through the comments. Man to watch for both teams.
Okay, yeah, done that one for Leicester. To be honest with you, the way we're going, Schmeichel's going to have a goal kick and score straight from it anyway. So, you know,
Schmeichel, I don't think's playing.
Whoever's in goal then. The ball boy or something. You know, you'll pass it into the goal from there.
Get this
I'd love to. No, it won't. With us, it won't. They'll keep it standing just to get us down. I think I'd love to see Lanzini score an absolute peach while going past about 5 players like Messi, then running the lap of the pitch in front of Moyes and giving him 2 fingers straight in front of his face. Didn't fucking lose it now, did I? Prick. Yeah. So
they can rise to score and he goes up to Moyes and does the same thing.
In actual fact, would it not be the whole team if they all scored a goal? David Moyes, you prick.
And he'd go, well,
there's a big sign for why he's lost the win. Yeah. Right, look, so you said man to watch for West Ham's Lanzini, man to watch for Leicester is...
Anyone. No, I'm going to say Morgan because I can see him being a threat from corners and whatever, and us not being, strong enough to handle him, basically.
Cool. Over to you, Matt, same question.
I think I'm going to go for the obvious ones, which is Arnautovic and Mahrez.
Yeah.
Boring.
Because they're the linchpins of both teams. Like, in all honesty, when they don't play, the teams don't play.
Yeah.
Like, if Mahrez doesn't turn up, Leicester struggle, and I can't remember the last time we did anything in a game when Arnautovic wasn't playing.
Over
to
you.
If Arnautovic doesn't play, we just don't turn up, so...
Matt, I always get confused. I don't know when you're stopping and always talking between and then you kick in.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's full security.
Rich, same question to you.
Obviously Arnautovic from us, and then Carroll if he starts, which I really hope because I genuinely think he can make an impact against Leicester. And then I think Jamie Vardy, he's got a great goal scoring record against us, so he'll definitely be a threat. He'll be up for it, and the whole squad in general from Leicester will want to bounce back from the 5-0 game against Palace, so they'll definitely be up for it. But you know what? It is let's be positive. They've just been battered 5-0 by Palace. It's a decent time to be playing them. Let's go there and let's get something from the game. Absolutely.
Man to watch for West Ham is Andy Carroll. I do think this apologies come out at the right time, and maybe we're going to see him back in the side. And lastly, I think Iheanacho is the man to watch. I always fear the player who's got a connection to West Ham, so he's the man I would watch. Finally, let's just get this rounded up. Matt, score predictions all the way over in the end.
3-2. I don't know which way. It'll be 3-2. It's going to be goals galore. I don't think either team's going to defend well, and it's just going to be who can outscore the other team. And it will solely depend on how he starts. If we start with just Arnautovic up front, we'll lose. If he goes with Carroll and Arnautovic, I fancy us to win.
Yeah. So what's your final prediction?
Right, 3-2 us.
Right. Cool. Take that. Look.
Go to Rich. I'm just still thinking of mine.
Go for it.
Yeah, okay, all right. Okay, well, I felt physically sick the last time I said West Ham losing, so I'm never going to do that again. I think it'll be 2-1 West Ham, and I think Lanzini will obviously get a goal, like I just said, and Andy Carroll will score a belter, and again we'll gut some Moyes and go, "Ugh!" Yeah, there's two fingers. So yeah.
Can you do that again? I missed that face.
That's what I do to you when we're not live yet, and you're all like, yeah, you're making a mug out of me with ginger face. So, yeah.
Rich.
Oh, Ant's talking.
I'm going 2-2 draw. I hope we win, but I think it's going to be a goal fest. Both teams will concede a few. 2-2 draw. Carroll to score. And Cresswell, he scored there 2 seasons ago. Why can't he do it again?
You know what you want, lad. No, he did score in the last game.
He scored last week.
So.
Come on.
Yeah. Sorry.
And he's got the most assists of any defender in the league. He's got the most assists of any defender in the Premier League. Let's not forget that. I'm serious. Genuine fact.
This season, yeah.
Genuine fact.
7 assists, I think he's got this season.
Yeah.
I am going to go for a 3-1 victory to West Ham. So I'm changing up my crazy predictions over the past couple of weeks.
We're going to fucking lose about 5-0 now.
So you're not going for a 4-1 loss?
No. I went for a loss one of the weeks and it went the opposite. I can't even remember what it was. So no, 3-1 victory to West Ham. Andy Carroll, and my main man is going to come on off the bench and score a goal. Chicharito. So finally,
that's 2 goals. It's not 3.
No, it's not.
One of them's getting a brace. I don't know who though.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Fandangos is saying 2-2 for him. Still saying 2-1 West Ham. Alf is saying 2-1 for West Ham. Alf is also saying, "Why do I want to eat carrots all of a sudden?" We've replied by saying raw or cooked. Then he said, in 1954, Sealy scored against Leicester. So there you go. It's just this. It's gone off on a tangent. Vernon has said, and the Oompa Loompa comment is back out. We've got this from Vernon. Vernon Harvey is back in. He thinks we'll lose 3-1 if the moron keeps the same team. And David thinks it's going to be 2-2. So there's a lot of positivity towards David Moyes. We think Fernandes is going to start, and we think we're going to survive on not winning any more games. But that's the complete opposite to what I said, hopefully. Anyway, any last points we want to make before we go?
Yeah, I will just make one point, is that Marcus seems to be computer illiterate right now. Can't seem to get onto YouTube Live, so he's messaging the group and he's saying he's watching live and he's loving it, and he's saying, how do I comment? And I'm telling him, don't, because you'll probably make a ginger joke towards me. But he's just said his is a draw 1-1 for him. So I'm just doing Marcus a bit of a job here, and I'm just saying what he's saying, so he's not left out.
Yeah.
Poor old Marcus.
And speedy recovery, Tom.
Yeah, speedy recovery. Yeah.
Absolutely.
No one knows why who's watching this, why Marcus might need to have a speedy recovery, but we all kind of know in the group that he's poorly little boy.
Love you, Marcus.
Not little, but you know.
So listen. This is obviously coming up to the end of the preview, so it's been great to have you all on. Make sure you put the comments in below. Make sure you hit the thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. We'll put all our social media tags on it for Twitter. So get following. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Get over to our website, read our articles. Luke, you've put up another great, fantastic article today on the Olympic Stadium and connecting it to the game last night we saw with Liverpool at the Roma Stadium. Yep. So really good article. Get across there, read it, and of course we've got Alf's daily columns. So get across there and read them. Join us. Is
it daily or hourly with Alf?
Man's a machine.
He's a ridiculous machine.
For all you first, second, third generation, old, young West Ham fans, do me a favour. Get onto our video that went up live last night, which is the 54th anniversary of when West Ham won their first FA Cup against Preston North End. It was an absolutely fantastic day because I wasn't there, but I've heard it was a fantastic day. And we've put a video up just showing you some 4-minute highlights with a bit of music in the background. And Ray Winston joined us and gave us a little bit of commentary during the video. So get on it. Bit of a plug to Irons United, and we'll go from there. So make sure you like that comment. Anyway, we'll be back for some more videos the rest of the week. Hopefully, I think we've got some coming up, and then we'll be back with a review. Anyway, come on, West Ham. Let's get behind the lads. Come on, your Irons.
Good.
Come on, boys.